Good morning, everyone. Art Matters New York with a new edition. We have new members in our group. Amy was already here last time, but new is Cliff Cort. Hi, Cliff. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Mark, yeah, what's on the plate today?
We have a number of things. We have a few works by Cliff, a few by Amy. Phyllis sent us some work. Yeah, so we have, and actually Marcia, who will be here later, sent us some sketches, which she did in the south of France. She, I guess, will show up. And then there's a bunch of just ad hoc things that I put together for your amusement. And so we'll get to all of it, I'm sure. So maybe we should start, right?
Yes.
So let's see. Let's see how this. So good morning, Phyllis.
Good morning, Mark.
So these are, I guess, you sent me two pieces. This is one of them. And
Yes.
so these are just recent new pieces that you've done?
Very recent.
Where are you, by the way, these days? Are you in Florida?
I'm still in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is watercolor and what is it, like a water-soluble pencil?
Water-soluble pencil, oil pastels that are water-soluble.
Really? Oh. Oh.
You know, last week we saw the work of Annie Albers. Were you with us last week, Phyllis?
Yes.
Yeah.
She did that big wall hanging. It looked like an embroidery or a weaving, we're not sure which. And it had those really very interesting lines. Do you remember that piece?
Yes, yes.
This reminds me a little of that. Just the feeling of the line as being a little bit,
it was a woven piece.
Yeah.
Woven, yeah.
I mean, I can imagine this, as being a very interesting, take on weaving in a strange way, but doing something just very, very loose, almost, random. Not random, that's the wrong word, but that just is very like searching in some way.
I sense fragility in here.
Yeah.
Which I like. It holds together, but it's very fragile.
I think it's really interesting. To me, it looks like either a jellyfish, where you kind of like can see the inside, but still there's a body to it.
Yes.
And it also reminds me of either lungs or heart. There's something like biomorphic about this as well, which is super interesting. And the beautiful reds and rusts kind of remind me of like blood. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I also see, like a double portrait, like two heads.
Oh, yeah. We know Phyllis likes heads.
And I like that.
Yeah, super cool.
Because I like the kind of the relationship between the two, like what they might be doing, whispering or, yeah.
But I like actually the biomorphic part better. I see you could see two kidneys,
Yeah.
To what?
But I like the looseness of the paint, of the water element. I like how just relaxed it is and flowing. You know, the blue and the
Yeah.
orange areas,
Yeah.
just the watery fluid, the fluidity. Let's say
Yeah.
that.
But it's like it's interesting because you've been able to get a lot of dimension in here, which is interesting. So it's really beautifully done.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very light, very transparent,
Yeah.
Yes.
beautiful,
Yes.
very nice.
I like what you said, Marie, about it having a biomorphic feel and the transparency. It does really look like a thin layer
Yeah.
covering all the vessels behind it.
Yeah.
And this almost looks like a fetus in here.
Oh, that too. That could be too. There's something super
And
interesting, very deep in there.
Yeah.
But there is also like a nervousness in there.
Yes,
Ah,
yes.
Nervousness.
What was
Yeah.
that, Hans?
Nervousness, or how do you
Yeah.
say? A nervousness.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been looking at sonograms also of,
Oh.
that's
So
part
you
of
were
it.
right about a fetus in there.
You were right, whoever
Right.
said that. That's right.
Because you're having a
I
great
have,
baby, right? Yeah.
yes, I'm having a great grandson.
Son.
Oh.
I've been looking at his sonograms and
Oh
Oh,
boy.
fascinating.
congratulations. That's so nice.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
It's
you.
definitely a girl here.
Oh,
Oh, oh.
So
oh,
this is
wow.
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 Oh.
This to me is like the opposite. It's super passionate, very,
Yin and yang, right?
Yeah.
yeah, love it.
Yes.
Yin and yang.
this is
Mm.
very bold,
Yeah.
very
Mm.
very very direct, very bold.
Yeah.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Very beautiful.
And I love the
I should take a
scratch,
screen.
that scratched circle in there. That
Yeah.
is that scratched off the material
Yes.
in some way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. So all of these, what's the word? Abstract gestures or abstract procedures, you know, layering stuff and then scratching it off and, you know, just letting the,
Well, you can't really scratch too much on watercolor on Arch's paper.
is this
It's
just watercolor? This is
this
just
is
watercolor?
this is why it was so difficult. Yes, it's a watercolor.
Oh,
Wow.
And if you start, I usually start from light to dark, but decided to go the other way. And
Yeah.
it's a matter of the darkness is problem.
Mm.
yeah. I thought it looked like pastel or oil pastel
Yeah.
to me.
Well, I added oil. That's to bring up the color. I added oil pastel,
Oh, okay.
water-soluble
Yeah.
pastel.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But the
Yeah.
bottom layer is thick watercolor,
Yeah,
thicker
yeah.
than usual
Mm.
watercolor, and denser color than usual.
How
Oh.
large,
love
how large are they? What is the size of these?
That's 12 by 16, both of them. It's small, of course, but that's what I can do now, and that's what I can do.
This is very strong,
Mm.
Yes.
very dynamic,
Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful.
Well, Mark, I thought it was super interesting what you said and a really interesting technique. So you have all this bold color, but the center part, when you took some of the color off, it became a rest area. Even though it still has a lot of color to it, it became softer. And so for me, my eye is resting there, which is an interesting technique. It doesn't have to just be like one color or, you know, it's interesting when you said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it.
I have an orange bromeliad pink orange bromeliad that
Mhm.
looks just like the center of this.
Oh, nice.
I know, what can you say after that? But it is very beautiful. It's beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful color.
Really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually you have more reds in your work. This time there is no.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that, Hans.
Yeah, usually you have more red, the red color in your work,
Oh, that's true.
Well,
which is now.
it's
not-
sort of, these are muted oranges.
Mhm,
And with all the layers, it's gotten this,
mhm.
you don't see the brightness of the color.
It's a
Hans,
nice piece.
I heard Hans talk about something in the video I watched, and he was talking about how red is a difficult color, and he was critiquing, I don't know who it was that he was critiquing, but he wasn't really happy with the tone of the red that was in the painting we were looking at through a video I watched.
Oh,
Is this the same artist that you made that comment about how difficult red is as a color?
I can't say right now. I'm
No,
sorry.
that was probably
Okay.
me. And
Oh.
wait till you hear Hans talk
Yeah.
about white.
Okay.
That's just a little joke. That's just a joke. Amy, what do you think? You have any thoughts?
I love the feeling of the color and the translucency, and I also love the round shape. Feels sort of balloon cloud like it's amorphous, and it could be another sonogram.
Yeah.
Could be another little baby in there.
Yeah.
Probably is, Amy. I wish I could guarantee it, but I don't know.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It is.
Nice piece. Very nice piece. Thank you.
You're
We'll
welcome.
move on.
Beautiful, Phyllis.
beautiful, Phyllis.
How
Thank
about Cliff? Should we go there?
Yeah. Can Cliff give us a quickie, just a little update, a bio? Because he's new to the group. Can you-
Wow.
Yeah, I just started painting. I had been working for 40 years and I didn't paint much. And so then I had sold my company about 4 or 5 years ago, and I started coming to Florida, and then I joined the Armory, and I've been taking lessons there for, sometimes as much as 2 or 3 times a week over the last 3 or 4 years, and really enjoying meeting Marie and Skip. And that's been my, but I always wanted to paint and felt that, I should paint. And so now I'm really enjoying learning to paint. And so it's been a lot of fun, and a big part of my life now is trying to paint and learn to paint. And so I'm having fun, and I'm, it's sometimes a struggle, and I'm enjoying the process of learning to paint. And this particular painting, I don't look at any kind of reference. I don't have a photograph. I don't have anything I've seen before. So when I painted this, I was just coming out of my head with these things. And I guess I was influenced because I had done an abstract painting, and the teacher, who's now passed away, Mark Cohen, he was a wonderful teacher. He had told me, he said, Cliff, this abstract painting you just did has got contrast and color and lines and shapes, and I really like it. Just sign it. It's done. Because I was asking him what he thought of it. And so I was all excited, and I brought it home. Well, actually framed it, because I thought it was, I believed him, and I didn't, think it was, in retrospect, I didn't really like it that much, but I framed it, I brought it home, and my wife said, Cliff, your painting scares me and it upsets me. And I thought, oh my God. And so I went back the next week and I said, Mark, my wife says it scares her and upsets her. And he's like, forget her. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Don't paint for other people. And so I did, I think at that point, start to think maybe a pretty flower, maybe a flower would be more. So I think this painting might have come after the scary one that upset her. And you know, what I like about it is that it doesn't make much sense if you look at what is maybe a vase. The vases are ill-shaped and illogical, and the stems and the location of the flowers don't make any sense. And there's things in it that make it look illogical and
but not scary.
No, this was, you know, I enjoyed the fact that it didn't look like, because whenever I go into a class and people are painting flowers and vases, I defect. I don't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. And so even if I go into a class where they're painting a still life, I won't do it. I often won't do it. And so I probably don't do it because I can't do it. And so that was, but I've enjoyed this one. Sometimes you have to kind of go in sort of a little closer to see anything of anything interesting. There's a couple of marks and a couple of things, but I also felt like I learned from this one, don't go so heavy with the paint, because I sometimes am so mentally lazy that I'll just empty the tube and I won't mix, I won't take the time to mix, and I just let the thing evolve, and I go too heavy with the paint. And so I'm learning, and I've done a couple of paintings this season that are much lighter, and I'm much happier without the thick paint. Although I love paint and I love, you know, playing with paint. And so, but I have been learning to go much, much thinner.
So Cliff, your wife was less scared of this painting?
Yeah.
Or because didn't she ask you why you have this black background?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't bother her.
Good, okay, that's really that.
Cliff, you did well, Cliff. You did very well.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And right in the middle, the sort of blue and purple, to me, it looks like a figure that's walking sort of in the flowers. It makes it very interesting. It's not a vase. It's
Right.
more,
That's the most interesting part of the painting.
Down low.
Everything except flowers gets into a very abstract space, and it's drawing the eye, and it's enjoyable to look at.
The lower part on the left.
Yes, the lower,
yeah.
no, the orange, and then go into the green and the blue, and
Yeah,
all that. Other than the buds, the painting is very interesting.
Yeah, that's my favorite part too.
It is beautiful.
I have to say, I've seen a lot of Cliff's works over the years, and I think that he has a very great sense of color and really interesting sense, you know, and dimensions. So, yeah, I agree with Skip. I don't think you should listen to your wife, because I think you have a really fabulous gift, and you have a lot of passion. Take her onto the show. Let me talk. I think that you should not be, you should focus on embracing that and really including that in your beautiful work. Because I agree with everybody. I think the vases are really the more interesting part of the painting. And I know your paintings are beautiful.
Yeah, I
love the black background, or blackish, bluish gray. I love the dark.
Yeah.
I think that works.
When I go into class with Marie and I see the emotional fun and freedom she has, because she's doing, she's working with the paint in a fun way, and it's and I'm yearning for, you know, to work larger and more abstract, but I'm still, you know, not there. But I do look forward to, you know, I think I have more fun when it's not real, when there's no realism to it, and and no one can. I mean,
you can see that in this painting.
Yeah, you're so talented, Cliff.
Yeah. What I really like about this painting, and I mean, from immediately, is just that it looks like you were having fun. It looks like this was like a joyous enterprise, like you were just exploring, seeing what you could do, and making it work, but just because it's enjoyable. You know, there's a pleasure. There's a pleasure, and there's a pleasure in looking at it. And, you know, I mean, I can, you know, point to a number of things, but, you know, I love the way these flowers on the upper left just, you know, come in from the left, you know, violate that edge. I love that. You know, that's a nice touch, you know, instead of just putting everything center, you know, on the canvas. There is something going on, you know, compositionally. I also like the change in scale, you know, from the big flowers to the little tiny ones, which are so beautifully painted. You know, just the suggestion of those little flowers without it having to be literal, you know, or realistic. You know, it really has a nice feeling. You know, you can even look in between the little buds, and there's some branches in there, some stems, I mean. You know, so there's actually a lot going on in here.
Yeah.
And it just is all, you know, and so you say, you know, that you like, you know, just the abstract quality of painting. But, you know, if you look at any good painter, you know, the reason why they set up a subject like a flower is to free themselves. So then they don't have to think about the subject, and they can just get into the quality of the paint, you know, the stuff of the paint and of making a painting, you know. So sometimes so I don't see, you know, I don't think it's fundamentally a big difference between abstract painting and, you know, realistic painting, you know, or naturalistic painting or whatever. It's all the same. You're still using the paint. And so any good painter really has to, you know, consider both the abstract, the pure paint, and also the subject. Doesn't really make much of a difference.
Thank you.
And that's why many painters today go back and forth between the two, you know, abstraction and figuration. Go ahead, Barbara.
I really like the way the forms, I'm sorry, I really like the way the forms on the bottom all abut each other. It just reminds me of I don't know, maybe Bonnard or Vuillard, just that packed together sense. And right?
That's what I like too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Great.
Barbara, that's good. I love it too.
Yeah, and then in addition, and it doesn't, it's not a contrast that doesn't work. It does work. In addition, you have this marvelous placement of the large flowers. Such a sense of design you have here with these flowers. These are not just, you know, randomly placed flowers. They're just it's such a sensitive organization.
It is.
Really nice.
It was very well put, Barbara.
Thank you. Hi, Marsh.
It was very well put. The organization may or may not have been planned by Cliff, but it damn well worked very well. I find this to be very charming.
Isn't it?
A very, very
lovely
charming
painting.
I do. It's bright, it's light, it's fun. It's I don't know if I would say considered. Of course, it all is considered when you think about it and you look at it. It's just balanced. It works. It's charming.
Oh, thank you.
Let's look at. Go ahead. Does anyone else have anything? Because there's one more painting here. Go ahead.
What I like is you are very strong with the thick paint, and with your brush you just put the shape of those flower leaves, you know, wonderfully applied. I think it's great, you know. That's very, very good. It's a very, very good thing.
It's a nice painting.
The composition is also good. I see though a little bit, you know, an undecidedness. I mean, of two ways of painting, you know.
Uh-huh.
You have these strong flower paintings, which are
Yes.
just beautifully applied,
Hmm.
you know, great. And then you start, or whatever happens, something which you become so-called poetic a little bit, but which is nice, you know. I like the lower part too, you know. And but somehow there is an inconsistency there,
Yeah.
and
I think you said it very well, Hans. Yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
He's so
Um,
terrific.
and undecidedness, and then with the, so I think everything would work once you probably not would even the black background make more lucid, for instance, you know, to make even more this interesting of these two styles of painting, you know. The black thing quite it works, you know what I'm saying? But for me it could be maybe thinner, that you really more go with thick and thin, you know.
Yeah.
Even more very clearly thick and you know.
Yeah.
And up there everything is thick, you know, the background is thick. Suddenly it becomes thin down there, you know, thinner. Yeah. So it could, for me, that you are more aware thick and thin, and so this it could be really I mean this is amazing already, but you know what I'm saying. You could work on that probably.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
You know,
here's another one.
Yeah.
As always.
Is this it? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Which one is this?
Very nice.
Oh,
This is also Cliff.
oh my.
Could you enlarge it somewhat?
It's
More?
I'm getting a very tiny one on my iPad.
Maybe.
Does everyone else see this getting bigger?
Yeah, it's getting big.
No, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is large. This is like I think it's about 4 feet, 4 feet by 4 feet by 3 feet or something. It's big.
Wow.
Big.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, everything is you know, this is really nice. Yeah. I mean, you know.
Yeah. Huh.
This is great, Cliff. I love
Very
it.
different.
Yeah, this is
Wow.
just great.
Yeah, some of the random, like that green going up through the flower, you know, it's not a stem. But the fact that I was able to, you know, do things that worked. But for me, you know, I had a lot of fun doing this painting too, and because it was big, it was fun. And I kind of like working big, and I find, you know, small brushstrokes and doing real detail a struggle and mentally challenging. And so I think that I'm happier when I'm painting bigger, and I look forward to.
Yeah.
And looser. This is as loose as you want to be. I mean, it can be looser. I'm not saying that, but that's what you were aiming for, looseness, and it's right here.
Let me ask you something. Do you see the upper part as being a water element or the sky, or doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. You know, I remember being in a class, you know, and I asked the teacher, I said, would you teach me how to paint a cloud? And she laughed. And I thought, what a stupid question, because, you know, clouds are wonderful subjects. And, you know, doing clouds, everybody tries to do clouds in all kinds of ways. And I've tried, and I don't know why she laughed with that question, but I thought it was funny that she thought it.
Cliff Mark is a master at clouds.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
And that is his life. And he would never laugh at a cloud.
No.
A cloud is always a subject for him. So you're talking
it's
to
an important part. Yeah, it's an important element
he
in my
is the
work.
master of clouds.
Yes.
Yeah, I did spray I used I sprayed those flowers, and I put some paint in the middle, and I sprayed it with a water bottle, pretty carelessly. But I like the way the water created a softness, to the purple.
Is it oils otherwise?
No, it was all acrylic.
It has to be acrylic.
Yeah. I mean, when I first looked at this, and I still see it this way, I see the upper part as being water and looking down, and I sort of like that perspective. It's just kind of interesting. I mean, that's what's in my brain. That's how I received this painting, is the perspective is looking down into this turbulent, ocean with these, these flowers blowing by the sea, and
on a hill, on a hill.
On a hill.
Yeah,
exactly.
I appreciate the various ways you can see this, because that helps me, try to just do something that's not contrived and predictable.
Yeah.
Someone
could you turn that upside down?
I'll ask Cliff.
Oh, sure. I sometimes
You don't mind, Cliff?
No,
Marcia likes this exercise.
I do too.
Cliff, I like how you think and how you how you invent things. I think that's great in painting, that you can invent things. The paint talks to you.
Right.
Not only you are controlling. The paint controls you suddenly, or gives you tells you what to do. And
my lack of planning and how things evolve, and it's always sort of a surprise, and that's kind of part of the fun, is just going down this path and seeing what evolves. Sometimes I follow a line or something, or I like a color and then I use a lot of it, but this is one of my more successful ones in the last couple of years.
Certainly is. I love the way the green and yellow flow into the blues and whites.
Yes.
Whatever melding.
Yeah, it's great.
I think you have a talent for putting opposites together, and this is the right proportion here, which I didn't see in the other painting. It probably could have been, if you worked on it in the same way. It's beautiful.
Someone gave me a book for my birthday coming up, Joan Mitchell, and I was looking through this book, and I want to be her. I want to be her. I want to be a mixture of her and Alex Katz.
You have to get in line.
Well, I saw in Hans's studio, his landscapes. I was going to say there was an Alex Katz element to what he had on the wall there, with some stuff randomly put on a beach or a sky. I don't know what he was doing there. But Hans, did you see Alex Katz in that?
Yeah, not really, but I can imagine what you mean in a way. I mean, I saw the last paintings of Alex Katz. They are all orange and quite. I mean, but I know what you mean. There is something a little. Yeah.
Beautiful work, Cliff.
Thanks, Cliff.
Yeah, it's
really great.
Yeah,
really nice.
Very nice, really.
So Marcia, that means you are.
Well, should we go to Amy?
Oh, Amy, right. Sorry. Let's do that. Let me get
beautiful
those
though. That's gorgeous, Marcia.
Oh, it's just an exercise, but thank you.
So Amy, are you there?
Yes.
I guess. Okay, great.
The color's not quite what it is. It's a little bit more vibrant and deep. This is looking a little muted and brown. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But
there's nothing I can do about that on my end.
No, that's okay. But
if you took this, did you take this with an iPhone or a smartphone?
Yeah,
you can tweak the color. You can go into your little kit there. And if you want to, do whatever you want to do,
Right.
try to get it closer to the original. You can always do that. I do that. But go ahead. Tell us what we're looking at.
It's like, it was a couple weeks of, I would say almost current events, the fires in Hollywood, Greenland, Musk to the moon, more, oh, my dog is hungry, sorry. More fires and destruction. All right, we'll have to put her out of this room. And then the wall in Mexico, and it was sorry, we're gonna walk with her.
We've entered the apocalypse, Amy.
Yeah, the apocalypse, exactly. So to me, it's all separate pieces, but they're sort of all meant to be together. The one in the bottom middle is a lot of collage and little pieces of ruins from Pompeii.
Wow.
And just, the little woman in the castle is also a collage looking out at what's going on. And I actually sold this. It was sitting up at the beach club here, and someone saw it and asked to buy it. So she dropped off a
Great.
check yesterday. I was very excited.
That's great.
Nice. Congratulations.
I like, this reminds me a little of the piece that that we saw last week in some way, and I like that. I like what you do when you're dealing with these small elements that are just, sort of arranged on the surface, it reminds me a little of what you showed us last week. And I think, you do that really well.
I agree. I think what you do that's really interesting is your art is it's very painterly, and it's also very conceptual. So it's like a treat on both in two ways. It's really great.
Yeah.
And I wish I
lovely
could
piece.
paint giant, abstract, colorful, bright things.
Boring.
What is painted and what is collaged? What is painted?
The background is painted, and then the ground is painted. Then the pieces are added, and then they're painted on top of the watercolor pencils and acrylic markers. It's a lot of collage in this one.
Yeah.
And you cut those out of things
Yeah.
you saw in that week or that month or year?
I cut things out. I search through magazines. I go online, print things out. Yeah.
Wow. Because sometimes when I see these images, I'm blown away by first of all, I really appreciated the fact that there was sort of some current events you were going for, because I've read that, art's supposed to be meaningful, and the fact that you're bringing in, these current events. But then when I saw that 911 Porsche, that particular model, I thought, oh my God, she's unbelievable. To capture that style of car as perfectly as you did, was surprising to me, because that just is an unbelievable photorealistic image of a 911 Porsche. And
Right.
And
right
so
here.
it's just helpful to me to know. And I
Whoop.
just
Right.
Sorry.
That's okay.
like that one. What's painted in this one, and what is that
This one's all painted. So
all
this
painted?
that's how I was until this summer. Everything that I was doing was painted in oil and sort of whimsical
Wow.
animals,
Love it.
flowers, and I would just kind of make it up as I go.
It's unbelievable.
And I sold this one. I couldn't believe it. This one I sold 2 weeks ago at a show at the Lighthouse.
Oh, nice.
Arrived at the show 15 minutes after it opened, and there was a red dot. And I said, oh my God, what is the red dot doing next to my painting?
There's something wrong about it.
Is that in Jupiter? In Jupiter? Is that the
In Jupiter, yes.
Okay.
So Yeah, that was,
I think it's beautifully painted and you deserve to have it sold. And I think a lot of your work reminds me of I I I can't I know who it is, but I can't
Rousseau.
Rousseau, thank
someone
you.
said
Your
to
work
me, yeah.
reminds me of Rousseau, which is so beautiful and vibrant. And what I love about it too is that it's so flat, but it has so much dimension at the same time. I think it's just so well done.
I painted another tiger piece that was a little bit more loose in the background. And I guess my doctor, my internist saw it on one of my pages and she loved it. So I gave it to her and she showcases it in her office. So
Oh, that's nice,
That's
Amy.
so nice.
That's smart to give it to your internist.
yeah.
Yeah, very smart.
You're
He-
smart.
he-
How
He or
big
she
are-
is the gatekeeper.
She loves it. She appreciates it. So I'm happy.
That's
How
nice.
large are they?
I want to say 24 by 36 or up just a little bigger.
We're going back to this, okay?
Definitely
Yeah.
the colors are more vibrant. I'm not sure why they've never taken a photo quite so bad. But
Also
that
here sometime I see also a little bit Ed Rouget, a little bit.
Uh-huh.
a
Yeah,
little what?
bless you, Marcia.
Well, I mean, the Hollywood sign, but come on.
A little
Yeah,
what?
but also the sky a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
Oh,
Bless
a
you.
little bit, just a
Yeah.
little bit. It's not-
a little
nothing-
what? I couldn't hear what you were saying,
It's
Hans.
nothing bad. It's nothing bad.
I
Yeah.
just think your compositions are so interesting.
There's
They're
so
Yeah,
much
this is
fascinating.
too.
I could just keep looking at them. It doesn't matter to me whether you've painted it.
Yeah, all of them have something, you know, there's
Yeah,
something,
Exactly.
there's something
Ah.
going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But the
That's interesting.
playfulness is
There's a
Yeah,
whimsy to
yeah.
it, yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
lightness.
serious
there is a
things
whimsy.
playfully.
Yeah.
There is a whimsy
Playfully.
involved.
There's a
Especially the-
fancy.
That's
They're
the must-
fanciful.
That's
Yeah.
the must-mobile, and then Trump is the yellow orange octopus.
Yeah.
They're going to Mars, and that little dog is wondering what's going on in this world. And
Are
Is
there
this-
cigarettes? But Mark, can you go up again? The
Yeah, you're
cigarettes
missing-
coming out of the trash bin?
Which
yeah, and
one?
trash can,
The
just
lower
we don't
left.
care, we just
Lower
dump the
left.
things.
Lower
Okay.
left. Is it cigarettes coming out of the trash bin? Or
It's
what?
just trash. They're little pieces of
Ah.
metal that I cut out.
Ah, look at that.
French fries,
Oh,
maybe
my.
French fries also.
That is just amazing. That just is amazing.
Amy, do you use X-Acto knives? How do you get so
Little scissors.
little scissors? Wow.
Not actually for that one, not so little. I just got little scissors. Those are my mother's old hair cutting scissors, barber scissors.
Yeah,
Very precise
Scissors
and
are
sharp.
good, aren't they?
Wow.
They're sharp.
Did you plan and think about the composition of each of these in advance? Did you think one's going to be
Nope.
a face?
Oh,
No.
you don't? Oh.
You didn't. You
No,
didn't.
first the background. Then
What about-
Mark.
What about the subject? When do you, right from the start, do you have that first?
Once I paint the background.
I see.
You know, I think what's
Actually-
nice about,
Yeah.
I think also what I like about these is that your colors are not obvious. You know, you are playing with some different possibilities. Like this one, for example. I mean, I know you said that the color is not accurate, but is it close?
It's close. It's just a little muted.
It's a little muted. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, the dark green of the sky here, this sort of sand, you know, orangey, whatever, whatever color that is, you know, I mean, all of them, the colors are unexpected. Like, you know, this orange color of this one, the mountains and the sky, you know, yellow. they're nice. You know, there's something to that engages, that isn't, you know, so obvious. You know, you kind of want to get into it just because we haven't seen it before. These,
Well, I
you know,
think the
these
variety
color combinations. And I like the simplicity of the ground that you're painting on, you know, the landscape, whatever it is, you know, and then you have, you know, so it is a nice, it's a nice ground for all of the other you know, little details that are going on.
they're
It's
also bound
really well done.
together in color. I'm
Very well
sorry,
done.
feeling and in structure.
Wait, Phyllis,
Not
say that
because
again. We didn't hear.
They're
Can you?
all bound together in feeling and
Yes.
different
Yeah.
feelings
Yeah.
and structure. Some are
Yeah.
whimsical, some are quizzical, some are very sad,
Yeah.
but they're all
Mhm.
constructed pretty much from the middle.
It
And they
is
all,
your,
all hold together.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's your personal scholar scheme. It's your world. Anyway.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Very nice.
that's right. Right.
That's
So is this a view from a rear view mirror driving away?
It could be, or or someone could be driving towards it, but I think of it as rear view because of the reversed letters.
Yeah.
The other Hollywood, you can't really see it, but I went back into the headlights and added a lot of yellow and orange. So it's as if they're driving away from the fires, but they're also driving toward the fires.
Oh, wow.
But
And
there's
the
no one in the
car,
car.
the
But it's
car
not.
is a cutout, right? The car.
Car is a cutout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
Yeah,
very
good.
beautiful.
I think
yeah.
they're each so interesting.
Yes. They
And
all
this is
have
so beautifully.
personality.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is whimsical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Almost
know, I've
I-
seen this painting. I'm sorry.
I just want to say there's something, I'm not sure quite what it is that's holding me back a little on this one. And I think it's the rendering of the tiger that becomes a little bit flat. I'm not
Very
sure I'm not sure exactly what it is. That, you know, I like the tiger, but I feel like it's not mysterious enough for me. It feels like a little bit pasted on. I
Right.
just wish it was a little more part of the, you know, the water, you know, the environment. I feel him crawling through, you know, but I don't know. There's something just holding me back a little on this one.
He
I mean, maybe
looks more like a cutout, you know, more like a collage, even though he's painted.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that in all other pieces there is a certain mystery going on,
yeah,
which is maybe missing here. It's
It's
maybe
true.
almost
something.
it's almost a bit too nice, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe
Yeah.
it's good for a children's hospital,
Right.
or, you know what I'm saying? It's so.
Yeah.
But also children like also sometimes a little bit more scary stuff, because otherwise they
Ask
just watch.
Hans. He's really good at this game. I wanted to say that I've seen this
So-
picture a couple times, and only this time that I'm seeing it did I realize that the orange were fish.
Right. Yeah.
Because I know it's not your fault. There's just so much going on here that I'm focused in on that center image and the flatness, and I'm enjoying that. And I also think that what's interesting about this and your choice of using those two lotus white flowers is interesting. And I'm just wondering if maybe you would get a little bit more dimension if you had placed one of those or had another one in the background.
Right.
I don't know. I love this.
Do you know what I would do with this? I mean, you sold it already, right?
Yes. No, I don't have to look at it.
That's fine. Okay. No, but I would
I'm
do
so
something
glad.
very strange, you know, like when you take a photograph and you know, animals have these red eyes. you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
And I think if you would
Oh.
do that, it would be perfect, you know.
Oh, that's
with
interesting.
with all these round dots around, you know, and
Yeah.
then have only these red eyes. But they should be painted like realistically from when
Right.
you know when you really look at
Yeah.
people's when they have
Yeah,
red
it's a good
eyes
idea.
because of the flashlight.
It's a good
Then I
idea.
think that would be really that would kick the painting to another dimension in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's like a certain lack of surprise. There's no element in the painting that
Yeah.
surprises. It all feels like it's a little bit too systematic,
Right.
you know?
Mhm.
That's
I
the only
like
thing.
though the two lotus flowers, which
Yeah.
are almost, you know, you have a lot of in the painting symmetry. Even it's a hidden symmetry, but
Yeah, yeah.
you're a lot of symmetries in your paintings.
Yeah.
That's
You
what
know,
all.
left and right, and you know, I
Mm.
like
You know
that.
what?
That's
You
that's
won't-
actually nice. These two white flowers in a symmetry.
Yeah.
You know what I found? I just found something. I don't know if you can see this, but I think I sent an older version. This doesn't show the whole painting, but if you can see this, I actually
Yeah.
worked on it more
Let
Oh,
me see.
okay.
and added,
Yes.
and you
You
can
took the
see it.
grass away, but I think that's good. You took
Yeah.
the grass away.
I forgot about that.
Grass is a little bit.
Can you
good.
show that again?
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah,
Added
yeah,
a little
yeah.
grass
But
and
Oh, I like that
Yes.
better. Yeah.
that was an
I-
old version, I
Ah.
guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that too.
Amy,
Yeah,
I
I like that too. Yeah.
I do too.
have
But
a
that's sort of like, I put that in there for comparison. That's kind of how I was painting and I got like
Mhm.
tired of it. I felt
Yeah.
like paint by numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
And and here's just one more thing to show you. That's sort of more if you can see the color. This is
Yeah,
more
yeah. It's a little bit bright.
Oh.
Yeah,
accurate color.
more. Yeah, yeah. I understand. Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I don't know
anyway,
what I'm
very
doing
nice.
next. I
Amy,
have no idea.
Amy, I was curious. You paint so beautifully. I'm wondering, when did you begin to use collage? And do you enjoy the collage, or because you're such a talented painter, I'm not surprised, but I'm sort of curious as to when you started collaging and why you started collaging when you're so able to paint so amazingly. Like, what
Right.
made you start to collage when you are so talented a painter?
That's a good question. I got really stuck. I couldn't paint anymore. I felt like everything I was doing was paint by numbers. And I started moving some pieces of paper around on a canvas, and the collaging freed me up.
Right.
But I've sort of reached a point now where I want to take it a step farther and not be as literal. I started a canvas. It's actually right behind me. Of course, it's a little bit literal, but it's hard for me to push it to the next level of just painting. I feel like I need to take a class with someone and get some direction.
You
Yeah.
want to free up, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
I'll tell you, I'd much rather be like you and having to free up than already being free and not being good enough to tighten up. Because it's much, for me, I know people think abstract is probably the most difficult, but for me, and I agree with that, but I do see people as talented as you painting when you guys constantly try to loosen up and just lighten up and go more abstract. It's really hard for some people, and you'll have fun doing it. It looks like you've already begun in the background there. So I encourage you to continue to try to, do what you haven't done before. Like you're experimenting with cutting out, and now you'll experiment with acting like Joan Mitchell.
Right.
Yeah.
Amy,
Yeah.
a great example of a great collagist is Romare Bearden.
Yes.
Yes.
Look at his work. Look at his work.
Absolutely.
He is brilliant. And
It's
you know,
brilliant.
and he's extremely inventive, extremely playful. You know, things just are constantly surprising and wonderful. And
With a social commentary in
yeah,
there.
well, yeah. So he was a
Okay.
Black artist, so there's plenty of, you know,
And then
of
too,
content. But there's the details as well as the larger, surprising, just purely visual elements. There's a lot of detail too. So
Yeah.
it falls, you know, within what, you know, similarly to what you're doing, you know, with regard to content, themes, subjects, etc. But his work is really just totally inventive.
it's
Check it out.
extraordinary.
Check it out.
Okay, I will.
And,
Yeah.
and also Romare Bearden's dialogue with Nancy Grossman had Nancy Grossman doing these marvelous, absolutely fabulous collages, completely different from Romare Bearden, but he influenced her.
Wow.
And the dialogue they had between the two of them in paint, collage, and in conversation was really quite amazing. But there was a question. I love the bottom middle one. It somehow, in a crazy way, reminds me of Hieronymus Bosch.
Oh, I can see it.
Yeah. The Garden of Earthly Delights.
Yeah.
I mean, in a crazy way, even though his is much more crowded than yours. But
Yeah.
Amy, I forgot what was shown of your work last week. You have my email. Send me, if you could, send me a picture of your work from last week. I think it was very, very different from this. Am I right?
I can't remember which piece I had up.
You showed us the dimensional piece with the
yes,
spiral of the
I like that kind of stuff.
That's a great piece.
That's marvelous.
Yeah, I like.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, let's move on because we're getting. Thank you, Amy.
Thank
really,
you. I appreciate
work,
the
Amy.
comments.
Great
Thank you.
work.
Thank you. Beautiful work.
So here we go.
Beautiful.
So Marcia, what was going on here?
I started doing watercolor while I was away, not being able to paint in oils. And I had an extraordinary teacher. And what she left me with
Are you breaking up?
Am I?
No.
Keep going.
Okay. What she left me with was this.
You were.
In watercolor, in oils rather, you are the master. In watercolor, the paper and the water are the masters.
Okay.
And she gave me a lot of little tips and the courage to even attempt to do watercolors, which is just extraordinarily difficult.
Yeah.
You know, so this is one of a few that I'm willing to show you. I did a lot of work while I was in her class, and it was 3 times a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it was one full day. I mean, a full day, and the other one was a half day. In these charming little towns far from where I was, and freezing cold. But
was this painted outdoors?
Oh God,
were you like
no.
in?
It was a freezing old church.
So where was this tree? In your head, or just on the paper, or did it exist?
My head.
Okay.
In my head.
Okay.
So it is a self-portrait.
As a tree.
Close, but no cigar.
Okay.
Marcia, are you still in France?
No, I came back Monday.
Oh, okay. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're back. Oh boy.
I'm
Welcome
back. I'm back, just shy of having to need a visa. I'm back.
Oh, gotcha.
This is a model of an artist that we had in class.
Oh,
This is terrific.
I've never done a portrait before, ever.
This one feels good. This one feels very confident.
You know, it's not finished, but I think it's finished.
Yes,
It
I
is,
would leave
it
it.
is. Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Mm.
That's one of the things that's nice about it is all the space around
Right.
it, the unpainted areas with just the pencil lines.
Well, it's not that. I think it's the faces. The mustache isn't finished. The mouth isn't there, but yet somehow it looks finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody,
I think you captured his feeling, you know,
yeah, yeah.
beautifully done.
Don't touch it,
And
Mark. Wonderful.
and I love the
What?
use of
What, Phyllis?
I
Said it's
I like the
wonderful.
use. Sorry, go ahead, Phyllis.
I just think you shouldn't touch it. It's wonderful. That's all.
Yeah. I
can't
like how the
Oh.
tooth of the paper is used in the either the beard or whatever that is down there. But I like how the tooth of the paper comes through
Yes.
with the brush, the way the brush just lightly touches it.
And the way
Yeah.
the water flows.
That's
Yeah.
thank you.
You must be
Yeah.
very respectful.
You know, if
of
I were
water,
doing,
of water.
okay, I would,
I didn't get that,
oops,
Phyllis.
sorry.
I didn't get that.
I said you have
Say
to be
again?
very respectful of water. She was right about that, your teacher.
Yeah. The water is the master and the paper is
Yes.
the master. And you just go where it takes you.
Exactly. The water tells you.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a
Barbara,
whole different thing.
what were you saying?
I was just saying that if I love this, but you know, the thing that I look at it and I want to do a dark line, which would probably mess it up. But I want like one dark line.
I feel the same way, Barbara. I do.
Really?
And yet I'm afraid
Perhaps
to
on the
touch
right
it.
side of his head?
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't
Just
think
No.
so.
Just
On the left side of his
trace.
head.
No?
I don't agree.
I don't
On the
either.
left side. Okay.
But I'm not going to touch it because I'm
To me,
afraid
it
I'll
works.
screw it up.
No.
No, but it
don't
does
touch-
work. It does work. I I desire to put that line in there. Okay.
All right. Very
Yes.
nice. Very
Okay.
nice.
Yes.
Just leave it.
Okay.
So these are obviously, this is, you know, so you had a live model, presumably?
I had a life drawing class on Saturday morning.
Okay.
So there were classes up the yin yang, but
That's great.
some of them were very far away. And a couple of times I went by bus and it was arduous. It really was. But this one I could walk to. It was hard to get around without a car.
Sure.
Because it's kind of an
Were
isolated.
these classes connected? Were they?
No, they were totally separate and apart.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So this was every Saturday morning, a 3-hour class with a live model.
Yes.
Part of it she was clothed or he was clothed, and part of it they were undraped.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they did it because it was also, a lot of these places do not have heating. And it was cold and rainy there while I was there. I had a wonderful time, but the weather was not at all cooperative.
Right.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to crop these properly.
Doesn't matter.
I
okay.
just couldn't. But you kind of get the idea.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty.
Nice.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah, that's a good one.
Nice flow.
Wow.
And on the first one, I liked the weight of the figure. I thought that
Of which
came
one?
across very well. The first one? This
That
one?
was the first one. That's the first one.
The back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The back and the legs and the buttocks. I thought that really seems very solid to me.
I agree.
And this has a nice lyrical line.
very determined. That's weird.
This is part of Mont Saint-Michel. Some of the sketches I did. I have a whole bunch of them, but some are better than others. And I'll do some paintings when I can start painting again outside.
This is going to be one of your subjects, isn't it? Or
probably.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of towers, and the architecture there is so medieval and amazing, and I got to do something.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Looks so interesting.
Oh God, yes. They're very interesting. I sent you 7.
Everything you sent me is right there.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's
Great.
it.
Very nice, Marcia.
Very nice. Very
Welcome
nice.
back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
Did you drink a lot of wine when you were there?
Oh, the wine was outrageously good and cheap, and very, very cheap. I must say, inflation has caught up since I was there last year. Has caught up somewhat, not as badly as here, but the bread was divine. The wine was fabulous.
The
and
bread.
Bread and wine.
The coffee was so good.
And the foie gras.
I had that too, and it was divine.
How about the
Really?
bon vin rouge?
The what deal?
Bon vin rouge.
Oh, I don't do Vin Rouge.
What is that?
I can't do that.
Why not?
I get a headache.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
The pastis.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do the white.
So-
I didn't catch the first word. Maybe I misunderstood you.
Bon, B-O-N.
Oh, no, I don't do the Bon
Good.
Vin Rouge. The Bon Vin Rouge, aidez-moi, un mal de tête.
The
Okay.
pommes frites.
Ça va,
Pommes frites.
ça va. Okay.
The pommes frites with ketchup.
But now I know. Now I know why Hans says for me, pour moi means I think. And he translates it to say for me, which is really correct. I mean, I realize now why he says, for me, I would think that blah, 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 blah. But he's really saying, I think that such and such and such and such. So I get the key now, Hans. I got you.
Really?
Oh.
I
The
didn't
word-
get me.
I got
Okay. So this,
Wow.
This
A
is-
big change.
do you know who this is?
Kandinsky.
So it's Kandinsky.
Yeah.
So my friend Alex Ross, this is just a little thing he did. So he asked AI, he prompted AI
God.
Oh,
to clean up these old paintings.
oh my
Okay.
God.
Of his?
So here's
Of his or Kandinsky?
this is the AI version of that
Oh
painting.
my
God.
Honey.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah,
We're in
much,
trouble.
One
So you
thumb
can
down.
see what an improvement it is.
much better.
It's much better.
Please.
Oh,
Oh, please.
oh my God.
Funny.
So this is a painting by Derain.
Who?
Derain, D-E-R.
Okay.
Derain.
Yeah, Duran.
There it is. This is the AI version.
Oh my
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Oh,
interesting.
oh,
Oh my God. This is the end of the world.
yeah.
The end of the world between Amy's apocalypse and this. I'm taking the pipe. I'm going
Yeah.
straight to hell.
Can you
Thought you were
zoom
gonna
in
say I'm
on the
straight
text?
to France.
This,
Oh, here's another one.
let me see. Wait, this is. I think this is that's the cleaned up version. Definitely. Hold on.
Why would he do that?
For fun.
There. That's the
Why?
direct.
Oh,
Um,
no.
This is the direct.
Horrible.
Wait,
This
which
looks
is
more like a sergeant in a strange
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
which is
So it
this,
goes from
the original or the AI?
the AI. It looks
AI.
more like a sergeant. This looks more like a direct.
And this
Definitely AI,
this-
no question.
this is the original?
No.
Yes.
This is not the
Yes.
original.
Yes, it is. This is the direct, and this is the AI cleaned up.
Go on.
That's pretty
What-
good.
What is
It is. It's kind of an improvement. This
Yeah.
Yeah,
one.
I agree.
what is AI doing? What are they removing? Obviously
Oh.
some of the character of the paint, but what do you think they're actually? What do you think happened?
What do I think happened? I think it's taking sort of an average of faces, for example, in its database, and it's taking an average, and so what it's looking at are mostly, faces that are more generic, more clean, more generic. They might come from advertising, whatever. So that's what I think it's doing. And so everything is compared with or averaged with a huge database, photographs of hands, of faces, of eyes, of hairstyles, etc. I don't know. That's what I'm guessing.
Is this the AI version?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with Barbara. I think this is better.
That's much
So
better
here-
than the original.
So let me see. There's a few more. Let's see.
Oh
So
my
this
God.
is
Oh.
this is by
Oh.
a German painter named Karl Hofer. Karl Hofer, who was painted in the early, 20th century, I guess, 20s, I'm guessing. So you can see that, how he's using flatness, cubism, etc.
Yeah.
As-
Look at it.
Yes.
Okay, so now here's the much improved AI version.
Oh my God.
Oh,
This
dear
one
God.
to me looks like a Vermeer a little bit, but not so much in
Yeah.
the eyes, but the way that they treat the light, and the color.
I think this looks just like a bad commercial.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
bad.
It doesn't have anything to do with the
No.
with the original.
No, it's sort of AI got confused
Nothing.
there. Let's see.
It looks pretty photorealistic though.
It is
So that-
photorealistic. And she looks
But
like
that's-
Scarlett Johansson.
A little.
So that's it. That's it for those. I just thought that was an interesting.
Yeah, that was fabulous, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah, but
Why would he do that? Oh my
Yeah, I was going to
because
ask.
he's
also.
curious. He's
Yeah, that
curious
was
and
great.
he's into the new possibilities of, something out there, like that might be useful to his exploration.
It's so scary.
He
It's
didn't
it's
put
also
one of
comical.
his he didn't put one of his paintings into the test.
No, maybe he did, but he didn't send it to me. I don't know if he did or
That would be
didn't.
interesting,
Yeah, I agree, Hans. I'd like to see
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's a good idea.
Ask him if he would.
Yeah, I think that this painting is the most interesting conversion to the AI where you say there's no way that AI gets it, where this is just so captures the mood so well and so simply done and interesting,
But he said clean. He used the word clean it up.
You know what? I don't know what the prompt. I don't know what his prompts were, actually. I have no idea.
If he said pretty it up, then he was super successful in prettying it up because this is.
I don't know what he said, so I could ask him. I'll ask him and get back to you.
No.
So anyway, I have, if I have a few more examples of this, the work of this artist, if anyone.
Yeah,
Well,
Sure,
sure.
yes.
Yes.
Okay,
This is Hofer, is the name?
this is, yeah, yes.
Hofer?
Oh, my goodness.
Karl Hofer,
Yeah.
Can you spell that?
Karlhofer.
Hofer.
Hofer.
Thank
Yes.
you.
So this is a self-portrait.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh. Hmm.
I love that red hand. The lowered red hand with the big paintbrush.
I like the green paintbrush. How this
Yeah.
one,
Love the paintbrush in the
little
background
green
shadow.
spot of paint is pretty great.
That's not.
Is that
And
the
the
whole
red
paint?
brush.
I'm sorry. Is that the whole painting? I feel like it's,
Yeah,
oh, gotcha. Thank you. Okay.
Oh. The shadow is a little disturbing to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. That,
It is.
oof.
Changes.
Do that, I wonder.
Does everyone have two white dots at
No,
the
No,
bottom of the painting?
I do.
I do
Yeah, I
also.
know that's
white
that's not-
dots.
two white dots.
On the screen.
Maybe it's my iPad, but I'm seeing that in every painting
Yeah.
that was shown.
Yeah. The sound is breaking up on mine. Is anybody else having that experience?
no,
No.
No.
that's really
Oh.
interesting.
It's
Mark,
your
I
white-
love him.
Yeah.
Interesting. Look at this.
Oh
This
my
is great.
God, he's phenomenal.
Huh.
Why does this remind me of kind of like Mexican feeling? I don't know. There's something
Oh,
quiet,
Yeah.
super elegant. Is he still with us, Karl?
No, no.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Hans, is he super
Mm.
famous in Germany?
He
Like
was very, very well known in Germany
in
at the
Germany?
time. He was
In the
considered.
early 20th century,
Yeah. Let me see.
the 20s, the 30s,
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so.
before the Weimar Republic.
Looks like the 30s.
Yeah, so he died in 55. He was born in 1878.
Oh, wow.
So,
So he was around during the Weimar.
Yeah, let's
he was
go.
one of the most, it says here, he was one of the most prominent painters, expressionists. But he never was a member of the groups, expressionist groups, De Broek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But was influenced by them. And he was considered a degenerate by the Nazis.
Oh, yeah.
But
Lucky.
it says after World War II, he regained recognition as one of the leading German painters.
Yeah. Mhm.
I love his greens. His greens are just, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Mark, it's
Yeah, the
great.
green is beautiful. Yeah. And
Really?
the color.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
I am not
Oh,
liking.
look at this.
Wow. A window onto the world.
What, Marie?
This one to me is not attractive, but I like.
Yeah, but
Oh,
it's quirky. I like it because it's so
It's very
weird.
quirky, yeah. But it's also metaphysical in a way.
It's surrealistic. A little.
Surrealist, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that's.
I like,
Yeah.
this, I like this one a lot.
A brush of surrealism.
The mauve in the right-hand corner is a gorgeous color.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is a really interesting painting. I hate to keep using that word. It's very evocative. Opens up the mind, and
Yeah, it is.
it
I
can-
agree.
That's why I didn't like it.
Well, for me, it's
You know
not a
what I
problem,
actually
Marie.
like about
I got a
this?
hole in my head.
You know what I like about this actually is that I could see on the right side in the center, you could see like a church or a schoolhouse or something. I mean, there's
Mhm.
much to the painting.
Mhm.
Wow.
I still don't like it, but I like it better.
I think all the areas, these,
Yeah, that's well done.
the way they're each area is sort of
Oh, that
painted,
blue, yeah.
and
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just playing with these colors in here, and
God,
I think the colors are great and interesting.
I do too.
Yeah.
Kind of a cubist play there.
Okay, next.
Beep.
Woohoo!
A brush with Picasso.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this still Hofer?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I happen to like this, but doesn't the center red piece remind you of like a character, like on like one of those spies
Yep.
from
Yeah.
Mad Magazine? He's got like a big. Anybody
Those
know?
Yep.
are women's legs.
The New Yorker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually like this painting.
I think he's interesting. He's
Very,
he's
yeah.
obscure. I don't know how I stumbled upon him, but
He is obscure.
he is definitely. He's
I mean,
not
he
one of
should
the better
take
known.
he should definitely take a place in the pantheon.
Yeah.
His women portraits are haunting.
Next.
Anyway. All right.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
Oh.
it? That's all you
That's
got,
it.
Ted?
Huh?
Yeah.
I
That's
see.
it.
That's it. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that was a fabulous session.
Wow.
This one is the best.
Wow.
Most interesting.
Wow.
You think that's the best, Barbara?
No,
I
no,
do.
the other one, the first
one?
one that you showed us. Go back
Oh.
one.
The man, the self-portrait,
I
No,
think this is
no.
down,
No.
yes,
This one.
yeah.
You
Yeah, I
think
think
so
they're
that's
too?
all
great.
I think they're all great.
I think that's a strong painting.
Very
I-
strong.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that original
I think
one.
the choice of the lime, that
I love
lime
that
green
too.
on
Yeah.
the brush is just something
Fabulous. Yeah,
great.
yeah.
The line of the canvas, you mean?
No, the color lime on
Lime, the lime
Right.
The
color.
Paint and the
Oh,
brush.
yeah. I absolutely think that white edge of the canvas is just a marvelous compositional device.
I do too, but I don't know how Hans feels about it.
Me,
He's got a way
I
You
have no feelings.
you all like this more than the portrait of the woman at the window? Is that what you're saying?
Which one was at the window?
The very first one the first one of Karl Hofer's that Mark showed us. The one that the
I think they're-
AI
I
cleaned
think they're
up.
both great.
I think would be interesting to see more of this Karl Hofer, maybe. I
Yeah.
think I have a little bit feeling it is very academic.
A little
I-
bit.
Academic, you that's how you paint in
This one.
academies, It's
Yeah, but he's trying to
that
break
kind.
through. I mean, that's what's kind of interesting about it.
Yeah, in his time.
Is-
Mm.
Yeah. He's picking up ideas, from, the changes that are taking place, in the 20th century.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, no, thank you, Mark. I love seeing
No,
it.
it's great. Yeah, thank you.
the green around his head, the shadows, the green, I think they're just extraordinary.
Mm.
It's green and
This
red.
what? Absurd?
I love it.
I know, that's awful.
I
You-
love
you
the
like
green
that
and
shadow?
red
Oh,
around his
I-
head and his shoulders.
This painting bothers me. Nobody else's minds
You know
this
that-
green.
No, no.
I do. I don't like this painting.
The attraction.
As a matter of
you.
fact, I don't like this artist.
No, the
No. Oh, you don't?
attraction.
That's
Not even that very first one. That the one
Oh.
that AI cleaned up?
No, the attraction to
This one?
these
You know,
paintings are,
one?
you know,
That one's
Can you
probably
show
the best.
one?
the unfinishedness of the
Yeah.
painting.
Yeah, I like
That
that.
makes it
This one.
attractive for us,
Yeah.
you know. You know, so,
Mhm.
you know,
That they
at
seem
that-
unfinished?
but that at that time, unfinished paintings was not
Yeah, allowed.
a fashionable thing like
Yes.
today, you know. It
Yeah.
was just a little bit of that's
But sometimes it gets jarring.
Yeah.
A lot of his shadows are very jarring.
Yes.
Yeah. I think what's interesting for me about this painting,
In this one?
well,
Yeah.
what I like about this painting,
What do you
I
love?
like her expression. I think it's very haunting. It
Yeah.
like talks to me.
Yeah.
But what I like about this is that I think her left arm is elongated.
Yeah.
I feel like she'd have to be like 6'4" to have like those size limbs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
the
and
head is too
I like
small.
that. It's the opposite of foreshortened. It's for,
No, the head is too small.
yeah, for her. Oh, I think you're right. Body and her head don't, yeah, but I
Yeah.
like, oh, is that him too? I like that too.
Yeah. Can you see
I
that?
like
Well,
it, yeah.
Yeah.
hold on.
Wow.
I think
Is
that's
that-
really interesting.
Another Hofer?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another Hofer, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
He
like
did-
that. With
Looks like the
direct-
same model.
Pointy faces.
No, it's another model.
But I like the records. That's pretty cool.
records.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like the
The
paper.
LPs, I mean, it was done in the 40s probably, right?
You know, I don't know when this one was done unless there's a signature on it and a date. Let's see. There is a signature, but
Or the 50s, maybe.
let's see.
Actually, I
hard.
like this the
You look,
best.
this is nice. This detail down there.
I don't know.
In the blue,
Like-
the blue. You know,
Yes.
where you see
Yes.
the
Yeah.
In the
color,
clothes.
how
Yeah.
how the paint is added.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is very, like, you can tell he's a master. You know, he
Right.
I
can,
like this one.
I do too.
Yeah, this is a good one.
I
Yeah.
think this is his
Okay.
best, from what I've seen.
So,
Did he make the eyes sort of surreal in terms of large? It looks almost like a modern, like a very recent depiction of a
Mhm.
Mm.
a female face.
Or it feels a little like Modigliani,
Yes,
Just
Yeah.
gonna say
Right.
that.
who we may
Yeah.
have seen.
And also neue Sachlichkeit.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
great.
this has to, I mean, I don't know
The
when
head
we're,
has a new Sachlichkeit
It's
feeling.
very
Yeah.
nice.
Also new realism feeling with the head,
Very nice.
you know.
Love this one though.
Mm.
yeah, it's this one is pretty
Very
great.
nice.
You know what's interesting about it? It's old and new. It's like a master's, but like with the records and everything and the dress, it's very modern. So it
Mm.
has kind of like an interesting
Yeah.
push. Well,
Yeah, I agree.
On the records it says Jimi Hendrix, so that's
Right.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
that's a good
you
one.
are all breaking up. I should leave because I can't hear you guys.
okay,
You're
I
breaking
think
up.
we're pretty much done. Hang on, Barb.
Yeah, that's it. So that's it.
That's it? Okay.
How are you feeling, Barbara?
Well, thank you for a great class.